Greetings and welcome to
YAS Podcast, formerly known as
YAS Podcast.
This is our podcast, all of ours.
A podcast for all sex workers.
In this podcast, we will discuss the ins and outs, ups and downs of our lives and experiences as sex workers. I am your host, Daisy Ducati.
I am your Hofra, Gigi Holiday.
I'm your stripper queen from the north,
Onyx. I'm AM Davies, and this is YAS Podcast. Hey everyone, it's AMD here, your host of today's episode, YAS Podcast, with producer and homie Daisy Ducati. What's up, Daisy?
Hey.
Hey, how you doing today?
Awesome. It's going to be a good day.
I hope so. If you say so, I believe you. Okay, good. Good. Well, I wanted to talk to you about something and make sure it's on everyone's radar. It's not a good day in Sweden right now. And so I just wanted to talk about it. And I personally got a little confused. I thought they banned porn altogether, but that's not the case. The Swedish government banned making custom videos and porn for OnlyFans.
Yeah. And cam.
And camming. Okay. Of course. So you can't do camming anymore either.
Yep.
Okay. So you can't purchase it and you can't make it.
I believe
That's
so.
what it is. So what really got me though, did you hear this? That the Swedish government was all of these letters from these supposed sex workers couldn't have been written by sex workers because it was so intelligently written. And if you say you're not formally educated, how are you smart enough? Your overlord must have written this.
Because sex workers can't possibly be literate.
It's completely shocked. And this woman is standing at the podium saying these words out loud. Because at first I'm like, come on, they can't be saying this. And then I saw it on Instagram and I'm like, it's upsetting.
Yeah. It's infuriating.
Yeah.
And what does this law mean for those of us that make that kind of content but don't live there?
I think
what if I were to sell a custom video to someone who lived there?
I think that they would get in trouble for buying it from you because it's also outlawed to buy it.
Yeah.
So, but you don't live there, so you just wouldn't get in trouble, but they would if they got caught. And how are they going to police it?
Yeah, I don't.
What? Okay, and so to just kind of add on to that, then here in the U.S. we have the Interstate Obscenity Deficient Act, introduced by Mike Lee, a Republican in Utah, that seeks to broaden the legal definition of obscenity under federal law, potentially leading to a nationwide ban on pornography.
And this one, it's not just going to be what we think of as porn, but also anything they think of as porn, which could be sexual health things. It could be anything to do with being gay or trans.
Man. But then also, what about the movie industry? I get hella turned on sometimes. I'm just watching a regular movie.
I just had to turn a movie off the other day because it showed really graphic scenes of teenagers fucking.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how they're going to enforce this shit. And I see this stuff and I'm like, oh, right. That's why I wake up and do this work every day, because we got to talk about this stuff. We can't stop talking about it and informing each other. It's just crazy. And I'm going to end with this before we bring our guests in the room. They're coming for all of us. If they try to take porn away, think about the millions and millions of people who lose their choice. And it's we've been telling y'all, if you don't listen to us, they're coming for you.
And it's not just about porn. It's about censorship. It's about privacy. It's about a lot of things.
All the things. So if you are not a sex worker and you're listening to this, you need to really think about that and stand with us and take action when we tell you to, because this is no joke. Yes, they've tried this before, but they're just going to keep chipping away, which is what I feel like Sweden is doing. Let's just chip away, just like they did with abortion. So everyone's got to pay attention. That's all.
Yep.
All right, I'm done. Thank you for indulging me.
I mean, we got to talk about it.
I know. I know. It's so horrid. Well, what is not horrid and what's beautiful and exciting is our next guest. I'm so excited to talk to ViVi today. So we're gonna bring ViVi Fierce into the room.
Hi.
Hi.
Everybody.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a really easy morning. Just recovering from feeling ick, but
Yeah.
I look beautiful. I feel beautiful, and that's all that matters.
You do look beautiful. You do. And you are in sunny Los Angeles. Am I right about that? Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes. Can you kind of tell us what you have going on in Los Angeles and what everyday life for ViVi is like? But first, really quick, before I forget, what are your pronouns?
So I just use she, her pronoun.
Perfect. And do you identify as a sex worker?
Yeah.
Lovely.
I do. I will say that I'm in the less sex work is a spectrum. And I used to be more full service and online content creation, and now I'm just more so of a dancer within the scene that also still tries to support my girls. So yeah.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. So yeah, tell us what life is like. What are you got going on? What's your everyday like? What's Los Angeles like for you? I know you've moved there. So give us a background.
So right now, everyday life for me right now is kind of just working. I work a lot in the nonprofit field. And so I am actually a resource navigator. So what I do is I help link people to care. So, so basically people will message me and request gender affirming care or housing or anything like that, food assistance. And I just send them links in different areas and flyers to different events that have those resources. And that is my 9 to 5. So I did go from sex work and stuff to a 9 to 5 work. And what's great about it is that a lot of my lived experience from being homeless in the past and sex work and stuff it comes in clutch at the end of the day whenever I really need to do my job and really bond with people. But outside of that, I'm also a dancer. I do go-go dancing. I've done pole stripping, and I've even done drag and all that. Basically, if there's a stage and you're willing to put me on it, I'll do it. I'll do it. That's the thing. I'll even do comedy if I got to. Girl, that's what I love about LA, and that's what drives me. And it is really sunny all the time. I will say we have been getting a lot more cold fronts and stuff lately.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about it. I'm a big girl. So for me, it is just a pleasant breeze within the sunny days of LA. But yeah.
Yeah. That's really amazing. The nonprofit work that you're doing. What was that transition like for you from sex work into the nonprofit sector? Because that's kind of a big change to go from doing whatever and then to whatever based on time, right? And then to a 9 to 5. What was that like?
So for me, sex work was more so surviving while I was homeless and getting back on my feet. And the moment I finally secured housing and stuff was whenever I really started looking for work that was just a little bit more sustainable for me. Because as a big girl, sex work is very different than girls who are thinner and all that. So just a lot more crap to dig through till you get to the gold basically as a big girl. And so I found serving and stuff until I had a friend who was in nonprofit give me that connection, and I got an interview. I whipped up my resume and stuff. And I got the job. And I will say it was so much nicer getting an office job than a serving job or sex work, just because for me, I do enjoy meeting people, but I like meeting people on kind of my own terms. And I feel with sex work, you just sometimes the people are just really really nasty. And same with serving. But with this kind of work, I'm running into people within my community and people who need help and stuff. And it's just a very different interaction. So yeah,
Yeah,
I like it. It's been easier for me, but I can see how it can be hard Because I will say, it's the 9 to 5 aspect that's hard for me. Being in an office from 9 to 5 literally drives me crazy a little bit.
Yeah.
And I love that we get a work from home day and our weekends, but still, girl, like I get it. Like I get why my friends don't want to do it. Like I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. I think about that. My partner actually has a 9 to 6 and I see him every day. Like, and it's a little different for him. It sounds like with you, it's like a little bit more hands-on and probably really fulfilling, like does it give you a sense of purpose? Like, how does that feel?
So I will say, especially when I started, it really did give me like a sense of purpose and feeling. But I realized that like my life as just a human, as a Black trans woman, like I spend it so much like either hiding when I was younger or um busy trying to like transition like during the early ages of that to like this work. It's just constantly giving. And so while I do enjoy it and I do love the work that I do think that like it can just be a lot for anybody. It's because it's a lot of sad stories. It's not really a lot of like happy cases. Like you're helping people with real problems. And I think that as time goes on, it can get real draining. Because I used to be the social butterfly, and then college kind of nixed that, and I became a lot more chill. And then as I became homeless, that switched me and changed me into like, you know how when we were kids, we were like, oh, I never want to be like an adult, and I hope I never change like that. Homelessness did that, and it kind of like changed that like whimsical, like childlike wonder in the mind to like things are way more serious and you have to like focus.
Yeah.
So yeah, like basically I missed that. And I think that all of these experiences in line of work, while they are fulfilling and they are like great to the human experience on like building my character, I'm tired. But
Yeah.
yeah, at least I'm pretty.
Yeah. I mean, you're gorgeous. Yeah. I love that. At least I'm pretty. That's hilarious. Can I start using that?
Yeah, like literally, that's what I say. Like I'll quickly, I'll be like, I'm so tired, but at least I'm pretty. At least my skin's clear. I'm like, okay.
I love that. So, as someone you're trans and you needed support during a time, you're mentioning houselessness and things like that. So now that you're doing the work yourself to help other people, like what kinds of support do you think that trans people, especially trans sex workers, really, really need, but they don't often get?
I definitely know that housing is a struggle across every community, including the sex worker community. I'm like finding stable housing that will like allow you to like stay home because for some reason in LA, like people don't want to rent to people that work from home. And I'm just like, it's crazy. You have to like jump through so many hoops. And then on top of that, I'm like, with the cost and like rise of everything, I'm like, I know that like food and just financial like help is what's really needed within like the trans communities and sex worker communities. And I know that with sex work communities like PrEP and HIV, like prevention and stuff are so important. And that's being attacked right now.
Yeah.
Like I literally, at our job, we've had our like funding affected by stuff like what's going on in our office right now. So yeah, like I feel like what people really need right now is housing, food, and finances. And unfortunately, that sounds vague, but like it's just the reality of the situation. Everyone is like going hungry. Everyone is like scraping by, and like, and for the girlies that are doing sex work, like sometimes like 1 month will be really good, but then like 1 month will be like extremely bad. And I'm just like, it used to really not be like that. It used to be a little bit easier to like figure it out. There was also a lot more spaces for us online. I've realized that like, I can't even like post a titty pic anywhere anymore. I'm just like, I just send it to my friend via text because I'm like, where do I post
Where do
it?
I even put this? And I totally get the urge to be like, someone has to see this picture. I totally.
Thank you. Wake it up.
Yeah. I do, so I lived in Los Angeles for 22 years and I danced in the clubs, in the strip clubs, in the nude strip clubs, bikini, topless, all of them for 18 and a half years. And I totally know what you mean. It used to not be like that. Like the money was just flowing and it was a lot easier. And then over time, it just got worse and worse. And I know exactly what you're saying. Some months, it's obviously this is totally different than doing work on the streets, but I think that there's a parallel in the like what is happening in the economy there, right? And that it was so much better at one point, and then it just, I don't know, like Los Angeles, as far as sex work, just kind of fell apart. I don't know. When did you get to Los Angeles?
I got to Los Angeles in 2019, but
Okay.
I will say, I don't say that I was fully living in LA until like 2021, whenever I finally got like secured housing.
Yeah.
Because being homeless, it was just such a blur.
Sure.
Yeah. So I wasn't
Yeah.
focused on friends. I didn't have community. I didn't have anything. I stayed to myself. So yeah, like,
Yeah.
so if there were things like falling apart at that time, I just didn't notice because I was struggling.
Yeah, it was before that. It was definitely before that. I think things started to get weird in like 2012, 13. Like it's gradually got slow. And then I've even noticed living there that the houselessness increased so much. And I know you're saying like they need food and housing and it sounds vague. It doesn't. To me, it sounds like a staple. It's like the most important things to living. And like living in Los Angeles and seeing that firsthand all the time for many, many years, it was heartbreaking, and watching it get worse was even heartbreaking. And I would go out of my way to bring food to people on the streets because it's like, it's so like we all have to fucking eat. I can't imagine going through that, and then you're like living through it every day. So I like really commend you. It's such tremendous work that you're doing, and that you turned your lived experience into a way to help other people. It's really, really beautiful what you're doing.
I think that the biggest thing that I look at is I didn't have help whenever I was homeless and
Right.
looking for resources. A lot of the places, like a lot of the things that I would try to do kind of led me in circles. So that's kind of the thing now. Like I tell people exactly like, if you need an EBT card, this is what you do. This is what you say. I'm like, if you need this is what you do. This is what you say. I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, people have to get over their pride, their ego of the situation that they're in. And you're going to have to admit things to these people that make you feel like hopeless and pathetic and stuff. But at the end of the day, you're just going on a hard time.
Yeah.
And I think that like having that knowledge now it's so useful for me because like I can lead people directly to where they need to be.
Right.
Because I hate whenever you like try to look for a resource and you go online and it's so vague. It's like, oh, just email this, and then you might not even get an email back. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that must be really frustrating to experience that. And so you've come out of so much, your life really seemed to have turned around from what it was to what it is now. And you're so full of spirit and energy. How do you take care of your spirit? Like, living in a time right now that we're living in, and continuing to do the work that you do that can be challenging at times. Like, how do you take care of yourself and with everything that's happening in the world and everything that you have going on in your life?
I spend time with friends.
Okay.
That's the easiest thing. I spend time with community. And I will say it's hard to go out to all these shows and all this because like it's just exhausting, especially with all this work I'm doing. But I love inviting people over. I love playing like board games, card games, video games, just like coming over, like having a drink, just talking, watching movies. I love watching like the Interstate Smith show with friends. I will invite people over, and I even got season 2. So like I will sit there and like invite people over to watch the hard to watch season 2. And like, that's how I heal. I sit there and I lean on friends, community, my roommate, who is my best friend for like 10 years. I call him my gay husband.
Nice.
He's someone that I always like lean on and hang out with whenever I need it. But yeah, that's really what I do. And also I do my skincare. But I'm like,
You do what?
I do my skincare.
Oh,
so
your
that's another
skincare.
thing. Do your
Yeah.
skincare and you
Okay.
will feel better. Take your shower, do your skincare. I always told myself, like, while homeless, I was like, I know that I'm never going to like I'm never going to like be so so defeated that I'm going to end it all because I do my skincare. I'm like, a girl that does her skincare is obviously a girl that is prepared to fight another day. And
I love
it's
that.
true.
Yeah,
And that's kind of how I keep my spirits up.
that's really nice. Hanging out with friends and community, I call that blue zoning. I mean, not that I made up the term blue zone, but I like to say blue zoning when I'm like with community, making food, doing fun, nice things, because it's just like it feeds our spirit so much and it helps us live longer. Like literally, I think there's been studies. Have you heard of blue zone? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I haven't heard of Blue Zone, but like it's interesting and I'm definitely going to look it up.
Yeah.
I just, because the thing is, that's literally what I do. So like,
Yeah.
I just didn't know there was a name for it.
So it's in reference to like parts of the world, and some parts of the world are considered blue zones, and those zones are where one of the characteristics is that people spend a lot of time in community around each other. So I just use it like casually, like, oh, we're blue zoning today. Very silly.
That's very helpful though, because like I
Yeah.
really do want to travel and stuff around the world, especially with how our climate is adapted. But
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I bet there's a list of like blue zone places. And I'm just like, if that's the case, I would love to go there. I would love to go and like share meals with people who are like friends and who are just open to that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you should look it up. Definitely. Definitely. Speaking of other parts of the world, you've said before that we're living through Nazi Germany parallels.
Mhm.
How does that awareness shape the way you move through the world, especially as a performer and a sex worker?
It makes it so hard and
Yeah.
difficult because I'm gonna be honest. I love the bimbo aesthetic. I love living in it, but it's hard to live in it because it's problematic to sit there and turn a blind eye to everything.
Mm,
And that's that's the main thing about being like a really good bimbo is that like you turn it off and just turn it on. And so I'm like, with that being said, I'm like, how do you do that in a world where kids are dying and people are suffering and trans people are being eradicated and all these things? I'm like, it really is hard to turn it off because once I do, I become a part of the problem. So it really has made it hard to work. It's made it hard to live because the difference between Nazi Germany back then and now is that like we have phones, we have internet, we have so like everything that's happening in our office and our government around the world is getting like reported on by real people and it's being analyzed by real people and like it's literally being proven false. Like whenever our president or something says something and claims it's the truth, it literally is fact checks within minutes and we have it on our fingertips and it's false. They didn't have that back then. And so that's what makes it even crazier why everything is still happening the way it is. Because like the parallel was similar with how back then they did target a trans center that had all this knowledge and on surgeries and all these things. And they destroyed that. And that's what they're trying to do here right now in America is just to destroy that, to like label all trans people as like a fetish. So like whenever they put out those laws that say that like those anti-sex and porn things in public laws, you could just snatch someone like me right off the street with no questions. Me just sitting there fully covered, like drinking a coffee. Apparently that showing off a fetish. And apparently that's what they want to make illegal and okay to just like snatch you up off the street. And that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And it's so similar. So that's what makes it even more insane. But like you have to find the balance of being in the moment in real life and trying to find and create space for your happiness and trying to stay aware.
Yeah, I hear that. I feel that way too about like what, what more could I be doing, And then I have to remind myself, like, you're already doing it because it's like so heavy. It's like I feel like if I'm not in the trenches, then I'm not doing enough. Like I can kind of pile on this self-guilt and then I have to talk myself out of that and remember to focus and keep doing this work, but also pay attention at the same time. I've never experienced so much chaos as an adult before, like we're experiencing now. And to your point, why are these still these things happening when we know these things have happened before and we're literally documenting it as we go? Like, I mean, I don't expect you to have the answer to this, but what is that? Why? Why do you think that happens?
Honestly, I feel like whenever it comes down to it, everything has been, it's the word, commodified or whatever it is, where everything has a price tag now. So basically everything in America is like based around capitalism, like from healthcare to our kids to like even going outside and breathing and it costing money. Like, of course, the 1% who gets richer off that are going to keep that going. But like for me, like I'm confused because there's actual studies that show that like once you hit a certain amount of money, like your life isn't like increased like by anything. Like you literally you are going to get happier by having all this money. So that's what confuses me because like I sit there and I'm like, if I had all this money, the moment I have everything that I need, my comforts met, my home, my car, all this, all that extra money is extra money to go to shows, to go to art, to go to whatever it needs to. I don't understand the idea of hoarding it. Like that's just weird to me.
It is very weird, and I don't know what that is about either, and if it's, like, power or, like, a sense of, like, needing to have control, and then I start to wonder if these things are, like, built into our DNA, and some of us have, like, the wherewithal to overcome that and to, like, reject that type of power because we are aware of it and understand it, whereas, like, I wonder if we're just, like, kind of I don't know, this is like totally philosophical and the stuff that keeps me up at night, but like, were we just like born into this way of mentality and then you grow out of it and some people don't? Like, I don't know. It's wild to me too. Like, why do you need $250 billion? Why?
There's like,
I
you
don't
can't
get
even
it.
spin that.
Dude, like literally just give it away. Like so many people need it. Just give it away. I can't wait for the day I can give away like hundreds of thousands of dollars to other people. That would that's like a dream come true. I don't need all this money. Like you said, like I just need to eat, have a roof over my head, have the things that I need and want for my family. And then like, I want to share with everybody else. And like, why aren't more people like that?
Exactly.
Exactly.
I just like, for me, I actually have like a friend who is kind of like that. She's also a trans woman and she's in sex work and all that. And she is the type of girl that literally will do her best to like hand out what she can. And she'll use like her connections with like sugar daddies and stuff like that to help out her girls. And I'm just like, that is the goal. Like whenever I did sex work, I was like, that is what I would love to be, like who I would love to grow into. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. What kind of fun things do you do with your friends in LA? Like, where do y'all go and hang out and like,
So right now, like a lot of us, if we have gigs, we'll try to meet up and support each other through our gig. And that's also a fun way of hanging out because we're at a bar, we're at a club, we just get to do our thing, party. Every so often we'll go get like something to eat. Food is just so like healing. It brings people together. So Korean barbecue, like hot pot things like that. I love doing. Um, we do love going to like Dave and Buster's. We have like a little family arcade nearby, gaming and stuff. Oh, and another thing that I love is that we love video gaming. So like a lot of us will be at home and we still play games like Fortnite and Marvel Rivals together. And like these are other performers and like people. And I'm like, I love that. I love that we can still be like so close and have so many like fun memories made by just gaming and yelling at each other. It's so fun.
yeah,
But yeah, and it would be nicer to like go on like trips and do all these, but like I love these small moments that I have with my friends.
yeah. Do you go to the desert ever?
I actually haven't. I need to. I need to go out that way. I actually do need to explore LA a lot more. I've just been so busy building a
Sure.
foundation for myself that like it's been hard to balance like going outside of LA a lot.
Yeah, I hear that.
I know I went back to perform again in San Francisco and that's my second time and I love it. I am just now getting to explore California and all that. So I've
Yeah.
heard great things about Palm Springs in the desert, though.
Oh, yeah, and Joshua Tree. Oh my God, it's stunning.
My friends were literally just there.
Yeah, because it's for me, it was like driving around LA and I was like, I just don't want to read another fucking sign. Like, stop advertising to me. And that's why I love the desert because it's like not jam-packed messaging, and it's so
Yeah.
quiet and it's natured. Yeah, it's really beautiful. If you can get a chance to go out there, I highly recommend it.
What's
Yeah.
crazy is that reminds me of my hometown in Fayetteville, Arkansas, because we have an ordinance where we can't have billboards and stuff within the city. So you don't see any signs. And there's like also another one where there's like 50% tree, like there has to be 50% green. So it's just lush. And I'm like, I love that. Like there's a place in California where it's like desert and like just all that. Cause that reminds me of home. Like whenever I
Yeah.
like leave and get, and also when I go to suburban areas here in California, I'll like see like those highway crossings and I'm like, oh, that's very south.
So what was it like living in Arkansas and being in the South?
So what it was like was very slow. Like I said, people were tight knit together. A lot of like judgments whenever you don't fit the mold. But what I liked about it was since it was slow, like I could get across town in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes on a slow day. Like I could go visit my friend in a moment, like getting to my job at like IHOP back then was like very easy. I did love the greenery. Me and my best friend, like that I said, my gay husband, he's also from Arkansas, and we would go hiking a little bit. We would go to the spot where we would sit next to to like Beaver Lake, and we would just look out on the water and smoke and like sit on this rock that was like jutted out. And it was just it was such a vibe. I remember dropping my phone in that water and jumping down and grabbing it. Like we had like, it was memories, girl. Like it was a cute time. It was fun. But like what I love about the city is just that it's so fast and that it's so much. And so the connections, people have so much more art and stuff. But like, cause the funny thing about Arkansas was like the party spot was Dixon Street, which is this strip of street right next to the college. And it's just a bunch of bars and restaurants. And there was like two, 3 gay clubs like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And now there's like one. I'm like,
oh no.
I'm like, goodness gracious, girls. I'm like, there might be more, but like, I just haven't been back. But I remember when I left, there was like one. And yeah, I'm like, I would sometimes just drink at a sports bar. But we did have one bar that had like ice shots. So that was interesting. And you could just throw them on the ground after you took your shot. So yeah, there were some fun things to do. Bowling was popular, which tells you a lot about the town if bowling is popular. Yeah.
It does. Yeah, LA is just like so full of things to do. It's really, really a fun place. So I'm guessing you love it.
Oh, I love it here. I literally just did the Renaissance Fair this last weekend. I'm like, the fact that like I have not done any of that in Arkansas just because like it's a little bit more scarce. I know they have it, but like coming to California and there's like that, there's like all these festivals, all these like little events. I live next to Hollywood, so there's always filming and stuff going on. It's just so fun.
I love it. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Looking for bold, wearable art designed by sex workers? Welcome to the YAS Store, where art fuels the movement. We collaborate with sex worker artists, and every purchase supports sex workers through profit share. And also YAS Work, our nonprofit fighting for sex worker rights through media, education, and advocacy. This is more than merch. It's a message. It's a mission. It's the YAS Store. Shop now at yasstore.shop and wear your values out loud. Visit yasstore.shop and sign up for our monthly newsletter to receive 10% off your next order.
And we're back. We're here with ViVi Fierce, talking about all the things. I love it. So let's ask this. I want to know, what are some of the biggest misconceptions people still hold about trans workers, especially people doing the work to survive?
I think a lot of the biggest myths are that trans people don't take care of their health, that they're disgusting and that they're gross. Trans people, like our insurance covers PrEP, covers Doxy, covers like so much, especially whenever you're homeless or poor. So I'm like, trans people are some of the most like like up to date people with like their health and like all that from what I've like noticed. And even like when I run into people who are like struggling, like that's the one thing that they focus on. So that's a misconception. I think another misconception is that trans sex workers are desperate. I'm like, at the end of the day, there's plenty of trade, there's plenty of DL, there's plenty of men out there that are looking for the dolls, baby, the dolls. Like we love the girls, but there are men out there that want the dolls. And that is just a big misconception that a lot of people have. So people really think that like they're just dirty and desperate. And that the reality of it is that so many trans women that I know who are in it are like literally just on top of their like shit. Like they're usually like really smart about what to do, how to navigate. But yeah.
Yeah. Can I share something about where I live locally?
Yeah.
Okay. So I live in a rural area. It's more lean conservative than it does progressive. But there's a mix. But anyway, it's not very diverse around here. And my friend, he was visiting and he has a Grindr account. And when he was here staying with us, showing us on the Grindr account all of these men who were looking for trans sex workers or looking for trans hookups, and that they also were cross-dressing in their private life. And in their real life, they're just walking around like totally 100% in the closet with kids and a wife and everything. And it just kind of blew me away, the large number of like straight, white, cis het men were like not what they are, trying to make the world perceive them to be. And it was just a really interesting perspective to see that. So I'm guessing like that's something you come across as well as a trans sex worker, like probably people who really want to keep things private. Is that something that you've come across a lot?
Of course. And like what's crazy is living in LA and living in Arkansas, the profiles are blank in the South. That's like the profiles are blank and they don't have information.
Right.
But here in LA, people post their photos, their bios, they'll post their job. They don't care. They'll post their Instagram. But like, and it makes it so much easier. But like like people really do leave nothing and you don't know who you're talking to. And that's what I hate about it. It's because like whenever I was in the South or whenever I was traveling there and I would open Grindr and some of the photos these men would send to me, I would just be like, what cis woman is giving you attention? Do you really think that I'm going to give you attention? And I was like, I am so serious. I need you to be so serious, ma'am. I'm like, you're asking to come over and help me do your makeup and then us have sex and you expect me to do that for free? I'm like, baby, give me $500 and you're not getting sex. I'm like, you are going home with a mug, girl. You can go to the club after you come to my place, after you pay me, but that's crazy. I didn't like it.
Yeah, for free? What's that about?
Right.
Hell no.
I'm gonna just be honest, because like I don't consider cross-dressers really a part of the LGBT community because it's straight men doing that. So I say this probably, I dislike a CD so much. I'm not really into them or like that because it's just so like, that's kink. It's a kink. And I can sit there and like be comfortable saying that like, I'm not interested in that kink. And I'm a kink shame a little because that's a kink of mine. And so don't kink shame me for kink shaming because that's my kink. And with that being said, like, it's like, that's what's so creepy about it is that they look at trans women and stuff and they think that like, we want to partake. And I'm like, girl, like, this is like me with barely any makeup on, with just throwing on my hair and stuff. I'm like, I'm living as a woman, a femme queen. Like, I'm just doing my thing. Like, that's just it's just so cringy to me.
Yeah.
But you know what? As long as you keep it on that out and behind your door, do you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally. What was that you just said?
Femme queen?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. That's because like I'm also in the ballroom community. So a lot of like trans women will also go by femme queen. But basically the term is femme queen. And I'm in ballroom and that's what a lot of trans women will call themselves. That's the category. Whenever they call for femme queens, they're calling for trans women. So yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. That's good to know. Thank you. So I just want to ask a couple more things. You mentioned wanting people to scroll through your Instagram to get the real story about you. What do you think that Instagram tells viewers that words can't say?
I think that my Instagram, because when I said that, like, I definitely don't mean like my in personal, like day-to-day life, because that's very different than my social presence. But what I think that people will get from my Instagram story when they see it is that, like, I am a big girl, I am a trans girl, and I'm a woman of color, and I'm out here showing myself, being out there, like, being so proud. Like, some of my photos where, like, it's like at some clubs in you'll see people in the back, like, mean mugging or disgusted, and then the other half are living, and I'm just like, that's why I do it, and that's what my Instagram story profile says. It says that, like, no matter what, this girl is going to go out there and do and put on a show, put on a look, do her thing, whether it's in ballroom, whether it's in drag, go-go stripping. I literally did a dance gig like last month, and I threw this string bikini on, like, because I was being lazy, and I was kind of worried I was going to look kind of like crazy because, like, a lot of body in a string bikini. Girl, those are some of the best photos I've ever taken. I'm like, wow. I'm like, so you really just gotta, like, that's what it tells. That's what it says.
I love that. I love it. And what message do you want other trans folks, especially those who are still living in the South or dealing with instability, what do you want them to hear or learn from your journey?
I want them to know that if you really want it, you can get it. Because in this life, we have free will, and we forget that. And, like, I literally remember I tried saving up, and I suck at saving up money. So when a friend said, you can stay with me for a month or two, I jumped on it with no money, and I went, and I wanted it. And so, like, it's hard to sit there and make sacrifices, but also at the same time, I look at where I'm at now,
Yeah.
and I'm very happy I made those decisions. I'm very happy that, like, I went and I chose myself over being comfortable, over being safe, and all those things. And
Yeah.
I think that that's what I want other trans women in the South and in, like, hard situations or any type of hardships, that, like, you can choose you.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much. Can you tell everyone where to find you if they want to follow you, or
Yeah.
do you have any projects coming up or anything you want people to know about?
So, basically, you can find me at YAS Fierce on Instagram. That's going to be the main area where you can find me. It's got my email for bookings. It's got ballroom, like, videos, images. It's got dancing stuff. Basically, my portfolio. I'm kind of like, it also has all my other links to, like, all the things, but all those other social medias are just kind of like passive, and I'm not really on it like that.
Yeah.
I will say that I am performing at Fantasy Island, which is on June 1st. It's going to be like this pool party weekend that centers around trans folks and stuff. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But yeah, like, there's no, like, really big projects coming up. All I know is that, like, on my profile, there's gonna be some amazing, like, pics that I've taken
Right.
with, like, some photographer friends that are gonna be dropping soon. And I am gagging at, like, the level that, like, I am jumping to, because I would love to, like, really jump into, like, the modeling and stuff, because, like, I do the dancing and things in person, but yeah, that's kind of
Love
where you
it.
can find me, where you can see me, where you can book me,
Yes. Book her. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like I said, if you really want to support the trans girls and the dolls and the femme queens,
100.
book us. Or you
And-
could just pay us. Like, you could just find my Cash App in my TM, and you could send me $2,000, and I will literally,
I love that
Thank-
mentality. Yes.
right?
Yes. Amazing. This has been such a pleasure and an honor. Thank you so much for spending time with us and, like, sharing your experiences, your journey, your knowledge. We're just so happy to have you. So thank you for being here.
And I just want to say thank you so much for having me. I had a blast. It's always fun getting to talk about myself. I love whenever people let me yap about myself. I'm like,
Perfect.
that's why take me on a date one day and I can yap about myself even more.
I love it. I love it. Well, thanks again and have a great day out there.
You too.
Hi, Daisy.
Hi.
Did you enjoy listening?
Yes.
Yeah.
ViVi is amazing.
I know. So full of life and spirit and beauty.
Yeah.
Resilient. Amazing. Yeah, it's such a crazy time in the world. Yeah.
I did take a look at this Swedish law
Oh,
to
perfect.
clarify real
Okay,
quick.
great.
It is Nordic model, so even though like the content itself is illegal, they're not punishing the actual sex workers. But
Okay.
but everyone else involved, including the buyers and the landlords and the platforms, are all liable. And
Okay. So still bad.
also it seems like they may still be allowed to subscribe to content. They just can't request anything custom.
Okay.
So like OnlyFans is allowed as long as you're not requesting any custom, like, do this for me,
I see.
which is strange.
Yeah, I mean, it's still bad. I mean, it's because it's like, see, it's not that bad. It's like, that's how they're framing it. You know what I mean? And for like the
Yeah.
women, like the people who aren't us and don't understand that that's still really bad. Like people, I just wonder if people are like, oh, like actually that sounds like a good thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's what's happening here. And that's kind of how the Nordic model is traditionally used. Is like, oh, see, we're not coming after the sex
100%.
workers. They might be exploited. And it kind of
100%, because they're trying to do this like let's save you thing. Let's save you from it. That is very interesting and good to know. Thank you for clarifying that, because like kind of the messaging that I'm seeing, it's like kind of led me to believe, which is why I was like Googling specific questions, but it kind of made me think like, oh, they banned porn.
yeah.
But
And the way that
Mhm.
media reports on these things can be a little
Of course.
sensational.
Of course. And a part of me feels like they're just, again, like just chipping away, you know, and like, what are they going to do next?
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, thank you so much for clarifying that for me and the audience. I appreciate that. Awesome. Well, I think that is a close for this recording session. Daisy, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Yeah, thank
Can't do
you.
it
That was
without
an
you.
awesome conversation.
It was very cool. And to all of our listeners, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. That really helps us. And yeah, there's a couple of messages at the end of us talking. So hope you enjoyed today's session. Bye.
See you next time.
We love doing this work, maintaining a platform for sex workers to tell their stories, entertaining and educating the public. If you love our podcast, please consider donating. We are now a 501c3, so your donations would be considered tax deductible. Go to yaswork.org/donate and easily send us some support to help keep this podcast going. That's yaswork.org/donate. YAS Podcast is produced by YAS Work, which is a nonprofit dedicated to educating and entertaining audiences about sex work through media. Learn more about how you can get involved in the podcast and our organization by visiting yaswork.org. That's YASWORK.org.